with a new pair of tits. Actually, wait, hold on. I'm gonna need to sip this one. You guys are gonna be shocked. I was shocked too. I woke up. Hi loves, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sharing my augmented mastopexy journey with you lots. This is essentially my breast lift combined with implants, a surgery that I underwent last year in December. I'm going to just walk you through how I prepped up for the surgery itself, what happened on the big day, might I add, and basically my post-op recovery, scar care, and where I am currently. Without further ado, let's just jump right into the video. I'm going to first take you guys through the preparation itself as well as the big day. Obviously, to secure the appointment, I had to pay the doctor's fee and get the medication ready that the doctor prescribed. Some were pain meds and some were in preparatory for the surgery itself. And there was a soap that I had to get. It's called BioScrub, and it's a pink antiseptic soap that kills bacteria and it prevents infection overall. And I have been bathing with this BioScrub leading up to the surgery. The day before the surgery, I went to the practice and he did his measurements, did his drawings and everything, and he instructed me that the next day, tomorrow, no lotion whatsoever. I'm meant to use the BioScrub again. He also told me, he cautioned me rather, not to wear any tight or fitted clothing. He also let me know that the underwear that I should wear on surgery day has to be purely cotton, no polyester or any artificial fabrics, or nothing at all at theatre itself. What else? The nails. I know people mention that when you go into theatre to get surgery, you're not supposed to have acrylics. I'm a person who does gel applications on their nails, and I asked him about it, but just out of curiosity to ask him, look, what should I do? Is it okay as is? Because the nail tech did put like a layer of clear gel over my nails just to protect them from breaking and all that. He explained to me that the polish color red is the primary reason why doctors say don't put on acrylics and what have you. Particularly the color red isn't ideal because there's this pulse oximeter that they have there in theatre, and this is the device that they use to measure oxygen levels, and it doesn't read well if you have the red polish, hence the whole background about nails and color. I just thought it's nice to know if you guys care to remove your nails before surgery and whatnot. When I was doing the measurements and everything with the doctor, we spoke about me getting, I think it was 275 cc's, or was it 265? Anyway, it was round about there when he had initially done my measurements and everything. He told me, look, I'm going to be in charge of putting in what's suitable for you. Anyway, at the operating table, I ended up with 185 cc. It's a silicone implant. It's the Motiva implant. The placement of the implant is what they call semi under the muscle. So not the entire muscle is yanked off. This is what they call a dual plane placement. It combines the sort of natural look of under the muscle with the support of over the muscle. That's what it's about. After surgery, you get like a certificate for your implants. This is my Motiva implant certificate. My card was here, and then I had to check the QR code. The card came with an actual unique number, and then you submit your actual implants onto their system so that you can log it in for your warranty. Should something happen to your implants before the warranty is expired, then they'll replace it for you. Right, anyway, let's move right along. I don't think it's important to mention that when I got to hospital, I consumed the medication, who brought me there, or what have you. I don't think that's important. I think it goes without saying. Then the doctor did his drawings once more. I actually met the anesthesiologist much later, obviously, when they wheeled me into theatre, and went to bed. woke up with a new pair of tits. Actually, wait, hold on. I'm gonna need to sip this one. You guys are gonna be shocked. I was shocked too. I woke up with the nurse hovering over me, literally with a hand in my medical nightgown, whatever it's called. Anyway, after I woke up from surgery and whatever else, when I came back, I'm not sure if it was before or after I had the surgery, they had the white socks over me, the compression socks, to just ensure that there's blood circulation. Anyway, after surgery, the doctor came back with further instructions, or just to reiterate instructions of, I'll see you the next day, one day post-op and everything like that. And before the doctor came, when I woke up, the nurse who was hovering over me, she was actually nice, and I wasn't expecting her to be hovering over my chest or whatever, but she told me, look, you need to get up and go for a little walk, even if it's just one cycle around the premises. Inside the premises is like a little passage, and then she said, that's enough, I think you've gone around twice already, so I think you need to take it easy. And then I went back and then the doctor of course arrived, reiterated his instructions. I was loopy at this point, barely speaking, barely coherent. I wouldn't say I was groggy, I was just not that very verbal. Anyway, one thing to note though about my surgery is that I didn't have drains, right? Some surgeons, they use drains to prevent the fluid from building up, but others, such as the doctor that I saw, use certain alternatives, such as internal suturing techniques, or meticulous cautery, or compression garments that will help you minimize the fluid from collecting, right? So it just depends on your own unique anatomy, also on the surgeon's preference too. After my surgery, my breasts, they were literally taped up, right, with the micropore tape, and I actually continued to tape myself as well, because I was told to just leave the micropore tape there, but I think at like week 4, I'd say week 3, because you're bathing and everything, so water does collect over there, and with time the tape becomes loose, right? And then that's when I started taping myself and everything. Obviously post-op you're swollen and sore, but the pain is manageable thanks to the meds, but for me it was excruciating. In some instances I thought I was dying. When I woke up I was feeling good though, but a few days afterwards, that's when it was kicking in. I remember when my brother had to take me for a week post-op, when I had to put the car seat belt on me, it was excruciating. Just the seat belt slightly rubbing up against my chest, that hurt so bad. And not to mention the meds make you constipated. I'm just saying, guys, get your prune dates and maybe a stool softener, because the pain meds can make you constipated. There were times where I was just in bed sleeping all the time. I'd probably be awake 2 hours at a time, and it's much needed rest that I never thought I needed, actually. To come to think of it. Anyway, that was week 1, how things were. And actually on week 1 I had like this sore in my mouth, literally, I think it was here. I don't know if while I was under anesthesia, I got bumped into something, or I don't know, but it literally looked very intense. It looked like maybe someone just smashed me across the face, but externally I didn't have anything like a bruise, but it just looked like I bit the inside of my mouth, and that was pretty intense and it was painful. And I can't remember what the doctor gave me, but I was applying something on it, and the right side of my breast was slightly bigger than the left side initially. The doctor didn't put a bigger implant here versus there. He cut off more tissue over here and then he put the same implants. Anyway, long story short, this particular side was starting to form some kind of an infection, and then I had to go back to the surgeon. But I'd say this is a doctor who has good bedside manners, I think, because he made it a point where, look, whatever you see and notice daily, tell me how you're doing, tell me what's going on, what you're feeling, keep me updated. And the date at which I had my surgery, by the way, it was long after the doctors have closed. And the fact that he put in a smaller implants than previously agreed upon, it's someone who is very anal about his mortality rate. So I'd give him props for that. Yes, I was pissed off that the implants are much smaller than what I anticipated. And obviously when you wake up, they're so swollen and so big and you think they're going to be slightly the same. Little reside in for big surprise. Anyway, the whole infection thing was settled and those antibiotics that he gave me cleared everything up. And then week 2, I had to go see him for removing the sutures and stuff. And I had to see a GP for that because his practice was closed, obviously. I did the surgery on the 23rd of December and there weren't many doctors available in the hospital to take out my sutures in his absence, because most doctors stop working on the 20th and then they come back around the 10th of Jan. Anyways, I went to GP, he had the drawings, pictures and everything for the GP to remove the sutures. My actual GP did it for me. And my GP was impressed with the stitches and the quality, how neat everything was. She was really impressed. And when I did my 4-week appointment with my surgeon was also impressed at the quality or the way in which my sutures were removed too. He actually said he did a good job when it was a she. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Then I had my 4-week appointment and then he just told me, no, continue with the tapes and bathing and everything. And then week 8 was when I was told I can discontinue the micropore taping or continue with micropore taping. It's not really going to do much for my scars. It's just going to protect the integrity of the scars. And of course, doctors mention that a lot, that don't expect the scars to disappear. You can see improvement, and also depends on the elasticity of your skin. It's just a case-by-case basis. Even how my breasts were before my son, they weren't like perky sitting up here. It was still giving teardrop type of breast. I'm happy with the improvement. Could it be better? Of course, but it just depends on your skin overall and how it was. And also what I appreciate about the doctor, he didn't sell me any dreams. He was transparent about what he could and couldn't deliver. Like he was even telling me that, by the way, the gap that's in between your chest, I can't migrate your boobs to be together. That is something you were born with. I can make them fuller. I can lift them to your chest. I can move the nipple to the position. He didn't sell me any dreams. And the improvement in my overall aesthetic, it's more than I could have expected. Even the scars are doing phenomenally well. Before I ramble, let's just go to the scar journey now. How I'm managing the scars now. Right, 8 weeks, I started using a silicone scar gel. It's called New Gel Plus E. It's a silicone gel to treat surgical scars. The Plus E means they've incorporated vitamin E into it. Right, so I've used that from the 8-week mark, let's say Feb thereabout, right up until June. And then on June 21 was when I switched to another gel called Skinova, because there's this doctor online who is my dream doctor, by the way. His name is Dr. Barrett, but he is in the US. I'm not even sure if I'm saying his name correctly. Not sure if he's Barrett, but I think it's Barrett. Actually, I should listen to how he says his name. Oh, I forgot to mention to you guys that my doctor was telling me that, oh, because I was telling him that 270 odd cc's were a bit too small. I was thinking more like 350 cc's because I want them big and I want it to be one and done. And he was like, wow, why do they have to be so big? Is there specific, are you changing professions? I was like, that's distasteful. I think you're trying to be funny, but okay, whatever. And then he mentioned something along the lines of, look, I know people come here and they're watching all these inspirational pictures on Instagram of how and what they want the breasts to come out as, and breasts are based on what you currently have, so you can build upon that. The time, of course, I was being defensive, thinking to myself that, is he trying to condition me to accept mediocrity, or is he trying to find euphemisms to say he cannot deliver and he doesn't want to over promise and then fall short? And then he hit me with something along the lines of, look, you can't make your boobs like a Barbie doll. That's not real. No one has Barbie boobs. And I thought to myself, ooh, I've never wanted Barbie boobs. Where's all this coming from? All your customers asking for, clients, whatever, asking for Barbie boobs. How did we even get to the point of sexualizing a doll? A doll that I used to make clothes for as a kid. I don't even think of Barbie in that kind of a way. I think of Barbie as the cool girl that you wish you were friends with in school. At the time, I've never looked at other people's breasts because I didn't want to have expectation of what I want from someone else's boobs that I potentially can't achieve because my anatomy is different. I said my breasts were tubular after breastfeeding. I nursed my child for like 18 or so months, almost 2 years. Things just dropped, and I lost a lot of breast tissue because I lost a lot of weight as well after the baby, and I gained weight during the pregnancy, obviously, and that came into play. And obviously once the breast milk stopped producing, the breasts were literally just a bunch of empty sacks. I just wanted some improvement. I wanted to look youthful. I wanted my upper half to match my lower half, look my age. My only rebuttal about the other Instagram people or wanting or aspiring to have a Barbie breast was, I don't want Dolly Parton breasts, but I just want them to be full and perky. Is that too much to ask? And he said, well, with the lift, with implants, it's pretty hard to achieve because two things are happening at the same time that are countering against one another. There is the reduction of size. So the reduction of size, you are contracting the skin together. And then there is the expansion of the skin by inserting an implant. If too much is going on at the same time, that can cause really, really bad infections that you can't come back from, that can cause irreparable damage. Let's just put it that way. It's safer to put an implant that will stay in so that your stitches don't pop open because you tried to do too much and risk one's life. Anyway, I was like, no, I don't want to look like Dolly Parton. And now that I'm here thinking about it, the only person whose frame or breasts I actually truly like is a cartoon. And it's not Barbie. Barbie was never sexualized by me. I don't know how that came about, but I've always wanted to have Jessica Rabbit's frame, from the breasts to Jessica Rabbit takes the cake. I can't think of a human that is like Jessica Rabbit. That's what I've always wanted. I'll probably go bigger. That's neither here nor there. Guys, I was talking about me swapping scar gels. This is what I use now. It's called Skin Uber. That's what it looks like. And I've been using that since the 21st of June. And I've also recently incorporated something else, which is red light therapy. I purchased a red light therapy lamp. I used it about twice a day for 10 minutes at a time. Once I come out of the bath, I actually sit under the red light therapy. I also use the red light therapy on my face. It's pretty early days to tell, but I know my vertical scars are pretty much disappearing as a result of the red light therapy. I'm super stoked about that. And they say it helps with back pain and whatnot. I've only tried it 3 times on my lower back pain. I haven't felt much of an improvement, maybe immediately after. I will be 9 months post-op by the 23rd of September. I want to check what the date is today. Today is the 14th of September. And for the first time this month, actually, this is the month where I'm able to lay on my stomach. For the longest part, I've been sleeping on my back, and just recently, last month in, I believe, August, maybe July too, I'm not exactly sure, I've been sleeping on my side, but since December, I've been sleeping on my back, and I'm a tummy sleeper, so it's been a long ride. Was this worth it? Definitely. It's helped me a great deal, like a great deal. By the way, I had on the 4th of July, let's just leave that, costs. How much did everything cost? I actually don't know how much everything cost. It was at about 133,000 rands. That's been my journey as far as my augmented mastopexy is concerned, from, I'd say, the prepping of the surgery, to the bioscrub, to the recovery, the micropore taping, and today I'm mainly focused on my scar care as well as the red light therapy. And as you know, guys, healing isn't linear, and all journeys are uniquely different. And this one's going to be tough to admit. Patience and consistency is what makes all the difference, because if you're not on top of your scar management, then it's difficult to see results, because as the skin is healing, the window in which these gels and creams are effective closes more and more and more. Guys, I thank you so much for sticking around. This has been, to the best of my recollection, of what I've experienced. If you have other questions, please feel free. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of things I left out, like pain management and how to do this if you don't have somebody to look after you while you are in the recovery phase. Because remember, sometimes when you go through this phase, you can't even lift your arms up like this. If you get into the tub, you can't get out using your arms to prop yourself up, because you don't want to pop your stitches. You have to use a lot of your core muscles, even to, if you're asleep, to get out of bed, you have to use your core muscles to get up. You don't use your arms at all for quite a bit. If you found this helpful, please share it with your friends, and please show this video some love, and do subscribe, and let me know below if you'd like me to, dive deeper into my scar care tips. And got a favor to ask as usual. Guys, be kind to each other, love one another, and most importantly, love yourselves. Okay, love you, bye.